Hello and welcome to the Oak and Lamb YouTube channel. My name is Becca Oaks. I'm an owner and craft educator here at Oak and Lamb. Today we are going to be creating an amazing invitation. It is a folding invitation that also has a fun tearaway option. We're going to be using Adaptive Tools and our Cricut Maker in order to create this project. Now, this is a cut file available to all Oak and Lamb members. If you are not a member and you would like access to this file and hundreds of other cut files with free commercial use license, click the link below and use the code JINGLE, Jingle, for $45 off our annual membership here at Oak and Lamb. Now, let's get to talking about the project. What are we going to need? For this particular project, I'm going to be using a pearl cardstock. It is a medium to heavyweight cardstock, but I love how smooth it is. And since we're going to be using a debossing tool and creating a debossed effect here, the smoother cardstock does really well with that effect. So I have that. And then I have a heavyweight white cardstock. It's about 110 to 120 pound cardstock. And this is 8.5 by 11 because I am going to be feeding this through my printer to do a print and cut section of the invitation. This part and the bottom part have options that you can flatten your own customized text to create an easy print and cut element on your invitation. There are lots of fun things that we can do with this particular invitation. If you just want to cut it out with your regular fine point blade, then you can do that. However, we're going to be using the wavy blade around our invitation to create a really cool effect. And then to create the rip away or tear away save the date section, we're going to be using the perforation blade with our quick swap housing and our maker. So lots of different elements going on here. If you are new to Cricutting or you just bought a maker and you have all these adaptive tools or you've had them for a while but don't really know what to do with them, then this project is great for you. Now, this is a wedding invitation, but you do not need to use this file specifically for a wedding invitation. If you were creating an invitation for a birthday or a wedding shower, a bachelorette party, a graduation, baby shower, anything like that, then you can customize this invitation to that particular event. Let's get started over in Design Space now that we've talked about what we need for this project, and I'll show you how easy it is to manipulate this file the way that we need to manipulate it in Design Space to use all of these different adaptive tools. Over in Design Space, you can see we have our invitation here with the embellishment. We have some circles here that will be cut out, and then we have our perforation line, score line, and all of this stuff. So, like I said, if you wanted to leave it as is, you can do that, but we're going to change up some of the cut lines so that we can use those adaptive tools. So what we want to do is make sure that this is ungrouped. When you import the file, it's all grouped together. So you want to ungroup it. And then I've gone ahead and used a text box and some fun fonts to write the information for the invitation here and the save the date information as well. Once you have that, then you're just going to select by dragging and selecting this layer and your text, and we're going to press flatten. That changes it from cut lines to print and cut. You can see right here, we are ready for print and cut. And then we're going to do the same thing with this bottom section. So select it all, flatten, and now we have this part ready for print and cut as well. Let's get to the other part of the invitation. We have our embellishment here, this decorative piece. And what I want to do is change it from basic cut to deboss. I have this line, which is going to be a score line, and I need to change it from basic cut to score. I have this line, and this is the one that's going to be the perforation blade that I need to change from basic cut to perforate. And then I want to use the wavy blade all the way around here. So we'll change that, but we'll do that in just a second. The reason that these circles right here are on the blank like this is because if I were to slice these out, like if I were to select all of these and slice them or subtract, so that they're like this. When I change this whole entire layer to cut with the wavy blade, then it would also try to cut these holes with the wavy blade. They are so small that it will not cut well with the wavy blade. So to avoid that issue, I have created these that will set on top, and these will stay cut lines instead of wavy blade lines. Hopefully this makes sense. So with these on top like this, we'll just attach all of this together and it will cut with the fine point blade just like we want it, and it will look really good. So let's select this part of the invitation and change it from basic cut to wavy. Now that all of that has been changed, we're going to select everything. So we have the base, we have the deboss layer, these cutting circles, the score line, and the perforation line, all selected, and we're going to press attach. Now we can go ahead and click Make It. So you can see we have our print and cut elements here. We're going to go ahead and print this out with our inkjet printer and cut it out on our Maker just using our fine point blade and the white 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Okay, I finished the print and cut portion of this, and if you need some great video or tips on print and cut, then check out some of the other videos that we have. What is print and cut? And then we also have videos for giving you tips on creating the best print and cut. We go through settings and different things like that. So check out those videos for sure if you need help with print and cut. But let's go ahead and remove our mat from the paper here, and doing that helps us avoid any curving or curling of the cardstock. So let's put that to the side. And then we're going to grab our pearl cardstock that we're going to be using for the card, and we'll place it on our mat. We're going to bray it down. Now this step is very important for this particular project because we're going to be having a lot of friction on this paper, especially with the debossing tool. And so if you don't have a brand new mat, or if your material has not adhered really well to the mat, then you will likely have a craft fail. The cardstock can move on you and you don't want that. So bray your material down really well, and then we will load this in the machine, and then we'll take a look over at Design Space again, and it will prompt us to tell us which tool we're going to be using first. Over in Design Space, you can see here, this is the lineup of the different tools that we're going to be using. So we'll be scoring, debossing, perforating. We're going to be doing the wavy cut and basic cut. So what it wants us to load first is our double scoring wheel. Now, if you want to use a scoring stylus instead, you can do that just by pressing Edit Tools and selecting Scoring Stylus. However, I am going to be using the double scoring wheel today, so I'll just leave it as is. We will go ahead and load our mat into the machine and load our double scoring wheel into clamp B. So really quickly, the difference in the double scoring wheel and the single scoring wheel is the double has 2 lines, the single has 1, and the double is used for thicker materials like heavy cardstock or craft board. So that's why it's prompting us to do that. The double scoring wheel has the 02 number on it. And really quickly want to point this out before we get started, because we are going to be using a lot of the adaptive tools and the quick swap housing. When you are installing the quick swap housing with the adaptive tools into clamp B, don't put your thumb right here. I've made this mistake so many times. I'll put it in here and make sure that it is flush like it's supposed to be. And to do that, I generally will put my thumb on this little button. But what happens when I do that, it pops this off and I don't notice it until it comes over here and says that there's an error because it doesn't detect the tip. So don't put your thumb right there. Just kind of do it like this. Make sure it's good and flush. Close. And then we are ready to click our flashing start button. Next up, we will change out our double scoring wheel for our debossing tip. Now we're going to change out the deboss tip for the perforation blade. Next up, we'll change out the perforation blade for the wavy blade. Okay, next up, we can completely remove the quick swapping house, and then we're gonna put the fine point blade back in. This is our last step with the Maker. Okay, we can go ahead and remove our mat, but before we move on, I do want to point out a couple of things. One is if you have all these adaptive tools, you might be looking for a really great way to store them all. We love this Cricut Caddy. We use it all the time here at Oak and Lamb, and it is from Bad Bird 3D. They have an Etsy shop. We've worked with them a lot here and really love the company and the product that they have. So check that out if you're looking for something. And then I also want to point out here at Oak and Lamb, if you are a member, monthly, annual, whatever, we do have a free O&L Cricut Academy course. So if you are new to this and don't know what any of these blades are, or if you've had an Explorer series machine and have upgraded to the Maker and don't know what the different options are for tools that go with it, we do have in our handbook a blade guide with information, descriptions, definitions, which machines they go for. So check that out if you're an Oak and Lamb member. If you are not an Oak and Lamb member and would love to be able to use your Cricut, then this course is for you. It's amazing. We go through start to finish, how to set your Cricut up, what the different terminology is, where to find specific buttons, how to make specific projects. It's kind of like a Cricut for Dummies beginner type course. So check it out and definitely use that code that I mentioned earlier. Now let's grab our mat, and we're going to again flip our mat over and remove our mat from our cardstock. Just like this. And you can see we have enough left. We could have done another one on this side, so that's really nice. Now, I don't know if you can see or not, I did choose a darker cardstock because the debossing tip tends to show up a little bit better on it. But you can see the debossing looks really pretty. We have our double score line here, our perforation here. And one thing that I do want to point out is there is a wrong and a right side with the debossing. So you can see here, that looks really pretty. This, you can't really see it. So when we fold this, let's make sure that we're not folding it this way. We want to fold it this way so that the debossed portion is shown. So let's go ahead and fold this, and you can use a bone folder, excuse me, if you want to just crease this fold and make it really nice and crisp. If you choose a cardstock like this, you might see that the white core comes through a little bit. Unfortunately, that is the nature of some cardstock. So if you want to avoid that, then you can get a solid colored core, or you can do what's called inking and ink the sides of it. So I could get like a blue ink and just go over that part so that you don't see it as obvious. Now let's grab our print and cut portions here. And all we're going to do is just line this up like this. And you can put adhesive on this part if you want to, but it's not necessary. I'm just going to be using some jute, which goes against every design part of me. For those of you who are Oak and Lamb members, you know that jute is not always my absolute favorite, but I think it does look pretty good with this navy. So I'm going to be using it, and I'm just going to go from the back to the front like this, and then tie just a simple bow. You can knot this if you want to so that it doesn't come undone. So knot and then tie a bow, but I'm just going to do a bow for right now. Just really simple. You can see in our test project right here that I used a really thin ribbon, which turned out really pretty too. This is definitely more rustic. So if you want it to look a little more regal or ritzy, then grab a ribbon. I did forget to mention that you're going to need some paper adhesive. So we're going to grab our favorite paper adhesive here, which is our Scotch ATG gun, so that we can place some adhesive here on this. And then we'll put this part right here. And now we have a really, really cute, unique invitation that was really quick to put together. And then, like I said, that perforated or tearaway portion is simple like that. They can save this somewhere if they want to. And then there you go. The other thing that you could do with this, if you wanted, is put like your new address on it. So say you got married, hey, our new address is, and put that right here. Then they can take this, put it somewhere else, and keep it. So lots of different options for that tearaway portion. And I think this invitation looks really cool. I really loved the challenge of using all of the different adaptive tools, because I think a lot of us are really guilty about purchasing those adaptive tools because they're there, or maybe we got a great deal on them, but then we don't use them. So here's a really practical and fun way to use those adaptive tools. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did thoroughly enjoy it. If you are not a subscriber here to the YouTube channel, go ahead and click subscribe. It is free to do that, and you can turn on notifications so that you're notified anytime we go live or post more content. Thanks for being here with us today. If you have any questions about the project, definitely leave those questions and comments down below. And don't forget to like this video if you liked it. I'll see you here another day for another video.